Hey guys, Sam from West Meadow Rabbits here. It is getting towards the middle of December, coming up on winter. It's been unseasonably warm here in New England. It was 65 degrees yesterday, pouring rain. Now it's just above 30. Definitely feeling the effects of climate change up here these days, but you know what? I tend not to dwell on the negative. I'd rather focus on how we can take advantage of this situation. So as you can see, most of the trees have pretty much dropped all their leaves. Still plenty of nice dry leaves on the ground, which if you've seen my other videos, I obviously recommend feeding to the rabbits. But a question I get a lot is, can you feed pine to rabbits? Now, there's a bit of a mixed debate on this, but as you can see in my area, I've got tons of white pine, and during that weird weather yesterday, we had a pretty big windstorm that blew down a lot of pine. So I've sort of chopped it up into portions for the rabbits. And so that obviously gives you your answer. Yes, you can feed them to rabbits. Now, not all rabbits are going to go for it, but at least with white pine, my rabbits absolutely, they love it. Now, why is it okay to feed rabbits pine? First off, I wouldn't feed it every day as a general rule. See, they've all got some. It's good once in a while, you know, maybe once or twice a week, in my opinion. But it's not something I would feed every day. It's definitely not a staple. But a lot of the things that make us think we can't feed rabbits pine is kind of what makes it good for them. It's acidic. It's got a pretty sticky, strong sap that most of us are familiar with. And inside that sap, though, and inside those still green leaves, there's actually a lot of good vitamins and minerals like vitamin C especially. And in the winter, your rabbits are basically not going to have any greenery whatsoever. So it's the only option you're going to have, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere like I am. And, you know, they seem to enjoy it. They're not going to go absolutely ballistic on it. See, she's just munching. But she doesn't like the camera in her face, but she's munching. They definitely know that it's got some stuff. Oh, wow, look. Beautiful girl, but she's terrified of me. You win some, you lose some. Anyways, excuse me. I'm a big believer in the fact that animals kind of know what they need. You know, you see animals in the wild all the time. Will walk miles to get to a natural occurring salt deposit so they can lick it. And a similar situation here is true, too. Hey, relax, my guy. He doesn't like the camera either. Definitely does not like the camera. He does like pine, though. See? There you go. No harm, no foul. Same thing with pine. They will eat a lot of it sometimes, and sometimes they won't touch it, which basically tells me sometimes they're deficient in a few vitamins and minerals, especially in the middle of the winter where they're not getting any sun. They really seem to enjoy it. But sometimes they won't, they definitely, I'm pretty sure they're not going to eat this whole thing. I put it in there just in case, but I think it's pretty unlikely that I'll see all that gone. That being said, it's nice basically in that it gives them, you know, unusual flavors that they're not used to, sort of mixes up the diet. They get some greenery if they feel that they're deficient in vitamin C in particular. They'll really enjoy this, although as I've said many times before in other videos, I feed mostly pellets, so they should be covered in most of their minerals. But if you're not feeding pellets, or you're feeding less pellets, or God forbid you find yourself in a situation where you're in a rural area, the roads are flooded, or power's out and you can't get to the feed store, and you know it's the middle of winter, you haven't had that much food saved up, you can definitely supplement with pine. It'll get some of those more harder to grab nutrients. Here you go, buddy. And when it comes to feeding any kind of leaf or branch, see, Mr. B is the man. This is my pet rabbit. He's not for eating, although I breed him sometimes, but he just loves pine. Ain't that right, Mr. B? But you'll eat anything. You're an old guy. When it comes to feeding any kind of tree product, I like to put the sticks in because this gives them, believe it or not, they really like to sort of play with sticks. They'll run around the cage and sort of toss them around. It keeps them entertained, especially if you've got a large litter. It'll keep them occupied. They won't fight with each other. And it's important too to make sure your rabbits are getting their teeth worn down. You can see he chews the edge of his cage, which he mostly does for recreation. Theoretically, pellets would wear it down enough, but I don't like to chance that. And especially with my rabbits that are in all wire cages, it's definitely good to give them some type of wood every once in a while. And it's much more fun for them to have an actual living tree branch than just a block of 2x4. You can do the 2x4 if it works, but it doesn't have to be pine. See, like this oak is dormant, but under this bark, you see the green? The rabbits will, that's the cambium of the tree, and that's the most nutritious part of the tree. It's got water, it's got sugar, it's got all kinds of tasty stuff in there. So they love to just sort of chew the bark off of branches you give them, especially if they're live branches. So I can't stress enough that if you're gonna feed tree products, which I recommend you do, go ahead and give them some sticks, even some down sticks like this. This branch is dead, but they'd much rather chew on this than just any old, dry, kiln-dried 2x4. And final thought on feeding anything to rabbits. Some pine is better than others. White pine is okay. Most Christmas trees are going to be great. My rule of thumb, if you need to find information in your area of what to eat, is look up what people are feeding to sheep. There's not going to be much information, at least in the US, dedicated specifically to meat rabbits. It'll be mostly for pet rabbits or not there at all because, meat rabbits aren't that common in the US. However, sheep are a great proxy for rabbits. Now, rabbits aren't a full-on ruminant like sheep are, but they're pretty close. They're quasi-ruminant. They have sensitive digestive tracts, and they're going to enjoy most of the same things sheep will, and anything that's bad for a sheep is probably going to be bad for a rabbit. So when in doubt, you can look up, instead of saying, can rabbits eat so-and-so pine tree, which you can do, by the way, but if it doesn't come up with anything, look up, can sheep eat so-and-so pine tree, and you'll probably find some information on that. So, as always, with any new food, don't be shy. Don't be afraid to experiment. The rabbits will tell you what they like. As you saw, my white Californian Mr. B, he was mowing on that. This girl doesn't seem that interested. He's kind of chewing on it, a little bit. And these guys are just sort of messing around with it. So, at the very least, it'll provide some entertainment value. And even better if it gives them some nutrition. So, that's it for today, guys. Just a quick little FAQ on what to do with these big, glorious pine trees. Until next time, everybody have a great Christmas or whatever holiday you happen to be celebrating this time of year, or no holidays, in which case just, enjoy your next couple weeks. And until next time, guys. Thanks.